McDonald's, the king of cravings, the wizard of fast food, once tried to bring peace during the Cold War. Yep, when it opened in Moscow in 1990, people lined up for hours just to get a bite. But what makes these burgers so powerful to make people go wild over them? What magic is inside them that if not made in 90 seconds, they're thrown out? Let's flip open the secrets behind the sizzle. Before we get our teeth into the secrets of the Golden Arches, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell, because trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming fresh off the grill. Let's start off with the real star of the show, the beef. That juicy, sizzling patty sitting in the middle of every McDonald's burger. It's 100% real beef. No fillers, no weird additives, just beef. McDonald's gets its beef from countries known for top-tier cattle farming, like the United States, Australia, and New Zealand. McDonald's works with specific breeds like Angus and Hereford because these cows are famous for their rich flavor and perfect fat-to-meat ratio. It's like choosing the best grapes for wine. You want consistency, quality, and taste that hits every time. Now let's talk about how these cows are raised. Some are grass-fed, others grain-fed, and both bring something special to the table. Grass-fed beef tends to be leaner, with a slightly earthy flavor, while grain-fed beef brings in that buttery richness and juicy texture we all know and love. The choice of feed actually changes the fat profile of the beef, and that fat is what makes each bite taste amazing. What about hormones and antibiotics? Well, that depends on the region. In the US, some cattle may receive growth hormones or antibiotics, but strict rules make sure there are no traces left in the meat by the time it reaches your burger. In places like Australia and Europe, it's a different game. Hormone use is banned altogether. McDonald's sticks to local rules wherever they operate, and yes, they're really picky about it. McDonald's is part of the global roundtable for sustainable beef. That means they're not just about flipping burgers fast, they're actually working to reduce their impact on the environment. Healthier land, better animal welfare, and long-term sustainability, that's all part of the beef game now. Once the cows are processed in certified slaughterhouses with super strict hygiene rules, the meat is trimmed, shaped into patties, and then flash frozen. Why frozen though? Well, because freezing locks in freshness without needing any preservatives. It's like hitting pause on the meat, so it stays safe and tasty until it's cooked. But who would come up with such a thing? I mean, seriously, who wakes up one day and thinks, hey, let's create a system that feeds millions of people burgers in under 2 minutes? Well, it all started way back in 1940 with two brothers, Richard and Maurice McDonald, who ran a barbecue restaurant in San Bernardino, California. Business was decent, but the real game changer came in 1948 when they scrapped the BBQ and introduced something called the Speedy Service System. Imagine a burger assembly line. No frills, no forks, just fast, cheap, delicious food. That's how the McDonald's hamburger was born. But then came Ray Kroc, a milkshake machine salesman who saw the brothers' little burger joint and thought, wait a minute, this could be everywhere. In 1955, he opened the first official McDonald's franchise in Des Plaines, Illinois, and turned the brand into a global machine. Kroc didn't invent the burger, but he sure as heck made it a worldwide obsession. From there, things exploded. Drive-thrus, Happy Meals, Golden Arches shining in almost every country. But what really made McDonald's different wasn't just the burger, it was how consistent it was. Whether you were in Tokyo or Texas, your Big Mac would taste exactly the same. That was revolutionary. The good old days. All right, Now that we've covered how McDonald's became a global icon, let's not get distracted by all that history. We've got buns to talk about, the unsung hero that holds it all together. It all starts with wheat, and not just any wheat, but high-protein wheat. This wheat is chosen specifically to create that perfect texture we all love. Once the wheat is harvested, it goes through a milling process to turn it into flour. And not just any flour, but bun flour, which has just the right amount of protein to give the buns their chewy, yet soft, bite. McDonald's buns are made with just a handful of simple ingredients: flour, yeast, sugar, salt, water, and soybean oil. Sounds pretty basic, right? But the magic happens when you mix them all together. The gluten in the flour gives the dough its elasticity, while the yeast goes to work, fermenting and making the dough rise. This creates that soft, pillowy texture we know so well. But there's one extra secret McDonald's uses: steam baking. That's right, the buns are steamed to perfection, giving them those soft tops we can't resist. In McDonald's buns, there's calcium propionate, which is a preservative added as mold-preventing agent. It's totally safe and helps keep the buns fresh, so you don't have to worry about biting into something that's not up to McDonald's standards. And that's it, your perfectly baked little buns. Now that we've got our beef and the buns locked down, let's get into the toppings. The key ingredients that really bring the flavor punch to each bite. You've got that tang, that crunch, and of course, that cheesy goodness. Let's kick things off with those famous pickles. You know the ones? They're tangy, crunchy, and oh so perfect with that beef patty. But how do they get that perfect sour flavor? It's all in the brining process. The cucumbers are soaked in a solution of vinegar, salt, and spices. This combination not only preserves the cucumbers, but also infuses them with that sharp, sour taste that cuts through the richness of the beef and cheese. The acidity balances out the fatty, savory flavors of the burger, making each bite more satisfying. Next up, let's talk onions. Depending on where you are, McDonald's may use either fresh onions or dehydrated onions. So yes, those crunchy bits might have a little backstory. For the dehydrated ones, they're rehydrated using ice water. This process helps retain their crispness and flavor, making sure they're not too soggy but still packed with that oniony punch. It's all about maximizing flavor while keeping that satisfying crunch. And now, the grand finale, cheese. McDonald's uses pasteurized, processed cheese for one simple reason: it melts perfectly, every time. The ingredients might sound simple: milk, emulsifiers, and colorants, but they're precisely chosen to make sure the cheese melts smoothly and doesn't turn into a greasy mess. This consistency in melting is key for fast food. The melting point is optimized, so the cheese holds its shape long enough to give you that delicious cheesy stretch, but doesn't lose its glory halfway through the burger-making process. All of this hard work to get that mouth-melting burger to you. We've got all the ingredients ready, but wait, we still need something to keep them stacked up, right? That's where we have our creamy, tangy, flavor-packed magic that makes a McDonald's burger feel complete. Yep, we're talking sauce. The Big Mac sauce. What's a Big Mac without that sauce? McDonald's Big Mac sauce is practically legendary. And no, it's not just fancy Thousand Island dressing. It's a carefully balanced mix of mayonnaise, sweet pickle relish, mustard, vinegar, garlic powder, onion powder, and a little paprika. Sounds simple, right? But it's obviously not. They use emulsification for this. That's a fancy word for how oil and water-based ingredients like mayo and vinegar are blended together so they don't separate. This is why the sauce stays creamy and smooth, even after sitting on your burger for a while. Now let's not ignore the ketchup and mustard, the classic dynamic duo. McDonald's ketchup isn't just tomatoes, it's a calculated mix of tomatoes, vinegar, sugar, salt, and spices. The vinegar brings the tang, while the tomatoes deliver umami, that deep, savory taste that keeps your mouth watering. The combo creates a perfect zing that cuts through the richness of the meat and cheese. As for mustard, it gets its signature sharpness from mustard seeds, which contain enzymes that react with liquid, usually vinegar or water, and release that punchy kick. They're like the glue that holds the entire burger experience together, one tangy, creamy, spicy bite at a time. Craving more juicy secrets? Smash that like button, subscribe, and let us know in the comments what's your ultimate McDonald's order. Now that we've got the sauces dripping, the cheese melting, and the pickles crunching, but none of it matters without the real star of the show, the patty. Let's head into the factory and see how this beefy perfection goes from a cold, flat disc to that sizzling bite of juicy greatness. So how do you make millions of burger patties that all look, taste, and cook exactly the same? You bring in some serious factory muscle. First up, patty shaping. McDonald's uses high-pressure molds to press that ground beef into perfect, uniform circles. No weird, lumpy shapes here. The pressure ensures every patty is compact, consistent, and ready for action. Now comes the sizzle, cooking the patty. At McDonald's, patties are grilled on flat-top grills, set at exactly 365 degrees Fahrenheit. That's not just a random hot number, it's the sweet spot for that beautiful sear without drying things out. Inside, the patty is cooked to a precise 160 degrees Fahrenheit, the temp that officially kills off any nasty pathogens. That means it's safe, juicy, and ready to eat in under 2 minutes. And guess what? McDonald's doesn't pre-season the meat. That might sound wild, but there's a reason. Salt and pepper are added during grill time, not before. Why? Because adding salt too early pulls moisture out of the meat, and no one wants a dry burger. After finally having our patty, it's time to stack this masterpiece. Buns get toasted, patties are dropped on the grill right on schedule, and every topping is layered with precision. No guesswork, just smooth, practiced motions. The goal? Each burger goes from ingredients to wrapper in about 90 seconds. That's faster than most people decide what to order. But speed doesn't mean sloppy. McDonald's follows a strict food safety system called HACCP, Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Points. It's all about tracking every step that could risk contamination and keeping it in check. There are also constant quality control checks because one soggy bun or overcooked patty can throw the whole balance off. And there you have it, your own McDonald's burger. McDonald's, being a global giant, has a pretty big carbon footprint, and they know it. So, they've been making some bold promises. First, they're going big on cage-free eggs and sustainable beef. That means happier animals and better land use. They're also aiming to cut waste across their supply chain, from farm to fry station. One of the coolest changes, packaging. By 2025, McDonald's wants all its food wrappers, boxes, and bags to be made from 100% renewable, recycled, or certified sources. So that napkin you're wiping ketchup with? It could have had a past life as a newspaper. Of course, beef production comes with some serious greenhouse gas emissions, but McDonald's has been working with farmers and scientists to reduce methane and other pollutants. They're investing in smarter farming practices to make sure the burgers of tomorrow don't cost the earth. And obviously, McDonald's story is complete without some drama. Remember that viral post claiming a McDonald's burger didn't rot for years? It's actually true, but not because it's immortal. The science? Low moisture plus high salt equals no molds. It just dries out like a food mummy. And what about the legendary pink slime? That weird goo people thought was in the meat. McDonald's went full transparency mode, showing behind-the-scenes videos and proving their patties are just pure beef, no slime included. Debunked it publicly. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments. And if you've got any burning questions or want us to uncover the secrets behind another popular food, drop your suggestions below. We'd love to dive into your next request.